right now on 5 on your side at 10.
We start tonight in a weather alert. Another burst of snow and a blast of Arctic air are moving into the St. Louis region right now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. The snow is already falling out in St. Charles County, but it hasn't yet reached downtown St. Louis. Our storm tracker is out on the roads, but first, let's get straight over to Weather First Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell.
Well, we are in our weather alert tonight, Mike, because we're dealing with this area of snow coming in, but it's not just that. This isn't going to be a big snowstorm for St. Louis. It's the gusty winds and the cold coming after this snow that will bring those wind chills down tomorrow morning and make it incredibly cold again west of St. Louis and north of St. Louis, and that's going to spread in across the metro area. Speaking of spreading in across the metro area, here's your snow working in from the west now, and as you head out on Page Avenue Extension 364 heading out to Highway 4064 in Dart Prairie, you're picking up the snow right now coming down in Wentzville, O'Fallon, working farther north as well. Reports out of Staunton with the snow coming down. You're seeing it up in Hardin, Illinois. You're seeing it in Bowling Green, Eolia, Troy, and in those areas north and west, temperatures have gone just below freezing. The rest of us are going to get there pretty quickly. That's a live look at Main Street in St. Charles. There are a few snowflakes flying there now, but it's really just starting. It's only going to last for about 3 to 5 hours at most, which means a dusting to maybe an inch of snow, not a big accumulation, but temperatures are going to tumble. They'll be dropping back into the teens here as we go through the overnight hours, along with those gusty winds. So whatever snow's out there may get whipped around a bit. And then tomorrow morning, north and west of St. Louis, wind chill advisories will be in effect. Wind chills over the next couple of days from 5 below to 25 below. We expand that wind chill advisory across the entire area for tomorrow night into Saturday morning, and that includes St. Louis. We'll talk about changes for next week in just a bit.
And remember, you can get the latest Weather First forecast right on your phone. Just text the word weather to 314-425-5355. It's another battle with snow and frigid temperatures for road crews on both sides of the river.
Here is a live look. This is Interstate 70 in Wentzville, where the snow just started following within the hour, and you can see how snowy and windy it is. Let's check in with 5 on your side, Laura Barcheski and photojournalist Don Galloway. They're out in the elements in the Weather First storm tracker. What's the latest out there?
Mike and Kelly, we are seeing some pretty big snowflakes falling here. We just crossed into Lake St. Louis, left Wentzville just a few minutes ago. Let me turn around the camera here. You can see visibility has already kind of come down as we see these flakes get a little bit heavier. And MoDOT says they're really concerned about the return of the bitter cold temperatures tonight. And they have crews ready to hit the road and continue treating throughout the evening into the morning hours. The Highway Patrol will also have 24-hour coverage of all major highways. And over in Illinois, I talked with District 8 engineer Joe Monroe from IDOT earlier this afternoon. He says they sent a lot of their overnight crews home early to get some rest, as they anticipate having to treat some of the roads as soon as the snow starts to stick on the other side of the river. Monroe says drivers could see plows hovering close to the ground using the tunnel of air to blow the snow off the road, but they'll mainly be using chemicals tonight to clear the roads.
So we're going to be very aggressive with the chemical we use. So you'll actually see us using what we call hot brine or straight calcium chloride to pre-wet the rock salt. So don't be surprised if you see moisture coming off the salt when it's coming out of the truck. That's by design. We had a couple people kind of freak out about it and call in and ask.
Be sure you give those salt and plow trucks plenty of room and don't pass them unless absolutely necessary. Monroe says they're actually more concerned about the morning rush hours because of that temperature and slick spots that could form overnight. So be careful. Make sure you check MoDOT and IDOT websites before you head out tomorrow morning, and be safe out there. Reporting live from the storm tracker, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
And the Today in St. Louis team will have the latest forecast and road conditions. That all starts at 4 a.m. You can watch on air or stream all of our newscast on 5+. It's free to download on Roku, Fire, and Apple TV. Just search for KSDK in the App Store.
Now to that developing situation where all-day police have surrounded a vacant home in unincorporated North St. Louis County. Investigators say the suspect shot a man, and right now the standoff on Cameron Road is still going on. Our Robert Townsend has been there all night and joins us now with the latest. Robert.
Hey there, Mike. You know, the standoff had been going on for nearly 8 hours, but about 20 minutes ago, More than a half dozen SWAT team members stormed inside the house where they say the suspect was holed up. Those St. Louis County tactical members had their guns drawn and went inside that house with shields. Right now, we are still waiting for the official word to come down from a St. Louis County police spokesperson. Foremost, did they find the suspect? Did he surrender? And is he now in custody? Earlier tonight, let me tell you, nervous neighbors had plenty to say about the hours-long standoff. The 400 block of Cameron Road between Riverview and Glasgow Village suddenly became a police scene. More than a dozen St. Louis County police officers, SWAT team members armed with guns, shields, and canines moved in and surrounded this vacant house. Inside, one man wanted for allegedly shooting another man.
Yeah, it's pretty common around here.
It seems like a movie to me.
It wasn't a mid-afternoon movie, but a real intense drama that played out just doors away from Frank James's home.
I was actually kind of shocked to see that many police on this block, you know, like that, having a standoff.
Investigators say just before 2 Thursday afternoon, officers from the North County precinct first went to this area to check out a shooting. They found a man suffering from life-threatening gunshot wounds. He was taken to a hospital. Police say the male suspect barricaded himself inside this single-story black and white house.
You need to do this now.
Police repeatedly got on a bullhorn and tried to convince the guy to surrender.
You need to exit the residence immediately through the front door with your hands in the air, nothing in your hands.
But for hours, he refused.
Well, it makes me nervous a little bit, you know, because I like to go for my walks.
The community needs to learn how to come together.
Neighbor Deanna Hentz says gun violence has been an ongoing problem in this community.
High schoolers that carry guns, and there's been multiple incidents where there's been group fights and there's a bunch of kids running around with guns, and just it's becoming a mess.
And back here live, we still have not seen police come out of that house with anyone. So at this point, we still don't know if they arrested the suspect or, in fact, was the man still inside that vacant house. I can't tell you this. We did see a white car in the driveway riddled with several bullet holes. As soon as we get the very latest, we, of course, will post it on KSDK.com. Live in North St. Louis County, I'm Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
I know you will keep us posted, Robert. And just hours ago, St. Louis firefighters recovered a body from the rubble of a North City home destroyed by fire. The family of 18-year-old Chandler Hill says he was trapped inside their burning home on Athlone on Monday. The search for his body was hindered by this week's extreme cold. Firefighters say a drone located his remains near the back of the four-family flat.
It's tough. It's obviously heartbreaking for the family. And hopefully there was some small measure of comfort and closure. Some of the firefighters that were here fighting the fire on Monday were actually working today. So, you know, I got to talk to them and several phone calls were made. Because closure is important on our end as well.
We're still investigating what caused the fire. Hill's grandmother was able to escape. We have a link to a GoFundMe page for the family on KSDK.com.
A driver is dead after hitting a pedestrian and crashing into a yard in North St. Louis County. The crash happened around 4 this afternoon near the intersection of Larimore and Barron. Police say the driver of a Jeep suffered a medical emergency. The pedestrian suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Tonight, St. Louis police are investigating a deadly crash near Soulard. A semi and a car collided near 2nd and Sydney Streets this afternoon. 2 people were taken to the hospital. 1 of them died. New tonight, a bailiff shortage has gotten so bad at the St. Louis courthouse, judges are now threatening to hire a private security company to keep them safe.
For months, tension has been brewing between the judges and the sheriff's department. Christine Byers attended a meeting where tempers flared and a compromise may have been reached.
There are some things that the judges and St. Louis City Sheriff Vernon Betts agree on right now. There aren't enough deputies and their pay is terrible. But the judges say that's no excuse for the sheriff to leave their courtrooms unguarded.
Judges in the 22nd Judicial Circuit are on the brink of hiring their own private bailiffs, according to emails obtained by the I-Team. Doing so would, quote, alleviate our ongoing concerns regarding safety, not only for the public coming into the courts, but also for those that work in the courts and courtrooms daily, wrote presiding Judge Elizabeth Hogan in December. Judge David Mason was among several judges who attended a meeting Thursday in which Sheriff Betts pledged to keep courtrooms staffed at all times. So right now, there are times when judges and courtrooms are going unguarded?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. No, there have been, unfortunately, many times.
Betts told the judges today he wants 180 deputies. He only has about 160. The judges questioned why they see bailiffs working for Metrolink or special events during the day when courtrooms go unguarded. Betts explained that's because they're working secondary jobs once they finish their shifts in the courthouse. And their starting salaries are only $34,000.
And I stand with our sheriff 100% on his goal of improving salaries. But he must stand with us 100% on making building security job one.
The presiding judge put the sheriff's pledge to staff courtrooms in writing following that meeting. If it doesn't happen, Mason says the plan to hire private bailiffs is still on the table. For the I-Team, Christine Byers, 5 on your side.
Tonight, we're seeing new video that sheds new light on what happened in the moments after a St. Louis police officer crashed his department cruiser into a South City bar. The owner of Bar PM was arrested and is now facing misdemeanor charges. Today, his attorney released cell phone video showing the owner yelling and cursing at police, asking why they crashed into his building. When he refused to show officers his ID, he was put into handcuffs.
An officer only has the right to demand an ID if a person's driving a car or if the officer has probable cause to think that the person committed a crime. My client did nothing wrong. He shouldn't have been in handcuffs. The officer was escalating.
The attorney is asking for the charges to be dropped. The next court hearing is January 26th.
Tonight, we're searching for solutions in the Charm City.
Cities are parts of counties. Baltimore and St. Louis are not.
Now, an all too familiar problem is bringing Baltimore City and county together.
We were one of the first in the state and definitely in the nation to investigate just carjackings being our sole focus.
How crime is leading to collaboration to combat a regional problem.
Winds increase, temperatures tumble, and a dusting to an inch of snow for some. The Weather First team timing out warmer weather for next week, and even that comes with challenges.
Right now, the Weather First storm tracker is driving eastbound on Interstate 70 in St. Charles County. Snow is falling tonight lightly. Accumulation should be light. Both MoDOT and IDOT have crews out overnight. They're hoping to get the roads clear before those bitter cold temperatures set in. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell will have more on the snow and the dangerous cold in just a few minutes. Tonight, we continue our Searching for Solutions series in Baltimore. Similar to St. Louis, that city borders a thriving county.
Both functioning with separate governments and services. Over the years, some have called for a closer look at consolidation to give the region a boost. Brent Solomon explores whether that concept is gaining traction.
Baltimore is a city that has very rich character.
Yet if it were a character in modern-day literature, some might describe it as a tale of two cities.
Many cities are parts of counties. Baltimore and St. Louis are not.
Each has its own police department, each has its own services, each has its own fire department, all of that.
According to the U.S. Census Bureau, Baltimore's population sits at more than 585,000. Compare that to Baltimore County, with a population of more than 850,000.
The county has a larger population. It wasn't always that way, but when everybody fled, that's where they went.
Radio host Jane Miller previously worked as a television journalist here for more than 3 decades. She's familiar with the operations of the city and the county.
There's no connection between the two other than they are adjacent to one another. This is a very clear kind of us and them attitude.
Although, when it comes down to the things everyone cares about, you begin to see collaboration.
Recently, a community meeting about crime that actually was with residents of both the city and the county. I can't remember that happening. So that's actually a step towards recognizing that crime doesn't know a border.
We were one of the first in the state and definitely in the nation to investigate just carjackings are being our sole focus.
Sergeant Brendan Duker with Baltimore County Police sits on the Regional Auto Theft Task Force, a combination of some 30 officers from Baltimore City and County hitting the streets every day as one unit. Last year alone, thieves nabbed more than 4,200 cars across the area. More than 60% of those were Kia and Hyundais. In more than 100 of these cases, the victims were carjacked.
We recover hundreds of cars a year. I would say on average 10 to 15 cars a week. We have the resources to be able to send detectives out there, whereas the precinct level detectives were tied up investigating various robberies and burglaries and various crimes.
Partnerships producing results have prompted a conversation here in Baltimore that we've seen in St. Louis. Should the city and county merge?
But I think at the end of the day, and what some of the business leaders really want, is for this to become viewed as a metropolitan area, not a city and a county.
Miller has hosted community roundtables on a potential merger. Supporters believe creating a regional water system would be a good place to start. A task force is now underway.
Both the city and the county are looking at perhaps a more shared governance of the water system.
Adding to that, the Greater Baltimore Committee is working to spur economic growth in both the city and county. Some 400 organizations maximizing its different parts to become a stronger metro.
This is an attractive place, an attractive location, right in the middle of the Mid-Atlantic, between New York and Washington.
Collaboration could be key to furthering the region's charm as it works to create its next chapter.
Always hopeful. Baltimoreans live on hope.
So again, we've seen the question come about, should the city and the county merge? I can tell you there are currently no plans to merge in Baltimore right now, but in many ways, leaders there are finding that working together is producing results. Next week, we take a look at education, how a Baltimore public school is improving outcomes for students while also engaging the total family. That's when you join us Thursday at 10.
All right. Thank you, Brent. Let's check in again with Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell. He is going to give us more of the weather first forecast. And
hi, Brent.
And a little, little appearance by Brent. We had a very brief break of the bitterly cold weather.
2 days with highs above 40 degrees.
You know, that's coming back.
That's all we could do at this point before this next Arctic air slides
But I saw wind chill possibly like 25 below.
Yeah, I think over our Bowling Green going up towards Quincy and Hannibal, not so much so tomorrow morning as it will be on Saturday morning. I think that's what we're looking at. Right now, looking out into St. Charles County, traffic's really light, which is a good thing here on Interstate 70. We are seeing some light snow. You can tell the visibility has come down just a little bit in this area. The snow is pressing in. It's a pretty good size area of snow, but the air was so dry. Those clouds were up about 10,000 feet earlier this evening. They had to come down nearly a mile before those snowflakes could finally reach the ground, but they are. And the big story, north and west of us, single digits up into Iowa, moving into northwest portions of Missouri. So here comes the snow. Where you see the darker blues, where you're getting some brief heavier snow. We've seen some of that around Litchfield. You get a quick coating. It doesn't take long once it starts coming down, especially north and west of St. Louis, where it's already below freezing. Heading up Highway 67 from Jerseyville all the way up to Rood House. Some slick conditions developing there. As we get into the metro area here, we're starting to see the snow spread east into Madison County, across North St. Louis County. So far, we haven't had reports of anything being all that heavy, but you're getting a quick coating. And with the cold temperatures in place right now, it won't take much to create slick spots, especially since it's been so cold this week. Maybe an inch up towards Litchfield and Jerseyville. That's the top end of it. As you go farther south, it's doubtful we'll get much in the way of accumulation. Futurecast is timing it out. This doesn't last very long, 2 or 3 hours and boom, it's out of here. But what comes in? Cold air. By tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock, we have dropped back into the teens. And that's not as low as we'll go. As we head towards 9, 10 o'clock, we actually see temperatures pushing back into the single digits with very little rebound during the day. So this light snow overnight doesn't last long. Temperatures are going down, maybe up to a dusting. That should be about it. Bigger story, your wind chills. Tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., Wind chill warnings, or wind chill advisories rather, in effect to our west. They'll spread into the metro area for tomorrow night into Saturday morning. That's when it's the coldest. Could see some of those 20 to 25 degree below zero temperatures. And then as we head into Sunday, we start to see things ease. Again, dangerously cold. Make sure those smoke detectors are working. This is where the wind chill advisory is for tonight, midnight, stretching into Saturday. We extend that off to the east for the rest of the area as we head towards tomorrow and tomorrow night and into Saturday morning. Temperatures dropping back into the single digits, lower teens by about 9 or 10 o'clock. We're keeping that weather first weather alert going right through Saturday to account for these gusty winds as well as the brief snow showers this evening and those dangerous wind chills. May even have some freezing rain as we transition to the warmer pattern, Monday. So we can't even warm up without getting it complicated.
Any good news.
But at least there is some warmer temperatures on the way.
There certainly are, and there's not going to be a lot of snow tonight. So
that's good.
Yes.
Scott, thanks. Corey is up next with sports.
An old friend torched the Blues tonight in D.C. Illinois basketball continued its dominance over Michigan, and we had a local college battle that featured an epic night from the three-point line. Stick around, sports is up next.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
For years, this guy in red was the fan favorite in our city. St. Louis was TJ Oshie's town. For the past 9 years, though, Washington, D.C. has been treated to Oshie's exploits. He may be a grizzled 37-year-old veteran now, but tonight Oshie made sure to remind St. Louis fans what kind of talent he still has. Drew Bannister and the Blues also had to deal with Alex Ovechkin back off injury for the Caps tonight. I told you to watch Oshie, though. He got started early. Power play goal, 1-0 Caps. Blues respond in the first. Nathan Walker's going to tip one past former Blues goalie Charlie Lindgren. We're tied at 1. This broke the tie. It's going to go off Justin Falk's skate and past Jordan Binnington. Ugh. Here's Oshie's second, though. Rips it past Binnington right in front of the net. 3-1 Caps. Falk would fire this next one at the correct net. Walker tips it in for another goal. That made it a 4-2 game in the third, but at that point it was too late. Oshie, empty net. There's a hat trick. The 7th of his career, first against St. Louis. Washington wins 5-2.
Obviously, execution's the number one thing. Like we lacked execution from our top players in those situations. They were able to score. I mean, the first goal. I mean, a lot of them were preventable.
While Michigan football fans may still be basking in that national championship glory, it's a different story on the basketball court. And a visit from the 14th ranked Fighting Illini was not the prescription for Juwan Howard and company to turn it around. Brad Underwood and company trying to rebound from that loss last game to Maryland. Get used to a lot of Coleman Hawkins in this highlight. From way downtown, he was feeling it tonight. Second half now, it's going to be Hawkins again. This time from the corner, he had 21. Now he's not going to score. He's going to get the assist up to Justin Harmon, who slams it home. Illini up 9 with 12 left at that point. The St. Louis kid for Michigan had a nice night too. Terrace Reed Jr. led the Wolverines with 20 points. It was not enough to keep up with Illinois, though. Hawkins, alley-oop, Quincy Guerrier throws it down. Illinois wins 88-73. It is their 7th straight win over the Wolverines. That is some dominance. Fun local OVC matchup tonight, SIUE at Lindenwood. Some Cougars made the trek in the stands. They went berserk from deep. Lamar Wright, 3 from the corner. DeMarco Minor, 3 from the other corner. He led all scorers with 17. Lindenwood star got his buckets tonight, too. Keenan Cole, he had 14 to lead the Lions. Here comes the pride of Collinsville. 3 more for SIUE from Rayshawn Taylor. There it is. Cougars make 15 three-pointers and beat Lindenwood 78-59. High school hoops. Borgia took their 15-0 undefeated record into the Lions' den at Cardinal Ritter tonight. Nice fake, nice teardrop from James Porter. That gets Ritter on the board. Then it's Borgia star Adam Rickman. Nice moves, 2 of his own. Let's go fast break the other way. This is the Lions. Clayton Jackson going to be the one finishing that one off, and Cardinal Ritter finishes off Borgia's hopes of an undefeated season. They win big 56-27.
Because, look,
I kind of want Game 5, right? I kind of want Game 5.
We all do.
I'm having fun. I kind of want Game 5.
It is official. Adam Wainwright is becoming a broadcaster. He will be a part-time analyst, his choice, on Fox Network baseball broadcast beginning this upcoming season. After moonlighting with them since 2020, his schedule hasn't been announced, but he will be slated to do about 15 games. Now, today would have been late Cardinal great Curt Flood's 86th birthday. Flood was a fantastic player, winning 7 Gold Gloves and 2 World Series titles, but he is most remembered for fighting MLB's reserve clause, leading to the birth of free agency. All those players signing those huge contracts you saw this offseason still owe Flood a debt of gratitude, and he absolutely should be in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely
Hopefully
should.
at some point. You just got to keep going. Hopefully more people get on with the cause.
Yeah.
And Adam Wainwright looks very comfortable in the booth.
I mean, he was commentating during the season in the dugout sometimes, so it's no surprise he's going to be great.
We'll be right back. We have an update now on that breaking story out of North St. Louis County. An hours-long standoff has come to an end. About 30 minutes ago, police stormed a vacant home on Cameron Road where they say a suspect in an earlier shooting was holed up. Moments ago, 4 men came out of the home next door to the vacant house with their hands up. There was also a couple with 2 small children. Those men, by the way, are now in police custody.
The snow is falling, and so are the temperatures. Final word on the weather, Scott.
Yeah, you're seeing it right now from our storm tracker out there. Roads are generally in pretty good shape. It's a very light snow that's falling, but we're going to take it easy as those temperatures drop off tonight. The band of snow, here's your weather first Doppler radar. It's not that big. It's sliding through St. Louis now. You know, we were thinking 3 to 5 hours, maybe 2, and then it's gone. So this will be in and out, dusting to maybe an inch north of I-70. That's about it. Then it's winds and it's cold. It is going to be once again nose-numbing cold tomorrow morning and again Saturday morning.
Bundle up. There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
And for the latest weather information, start your day with Today in St. Louis at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.